really had a good time covering the last home game of the Oakland A's. You know, the question is, will sports return to Oakland? I hope so, and I'm going to believe that sports will return to Oakland. Oakland has proven for years, decades, that we are a sports town. We always have been. If you believe in us and you back us up, you do your part, we'll do our part, and we'll show up. But Oakland has had too many owners who just couldn't wait and tried to find a way to maneuver out of the city. You know, like I said, excuse me, Jeff Fisher is a liar. And that's all it come down to. But anyway, with that being said, let's talk about um, the issue continuing to go on with Caitlyn Clark and how the media and fans have caused a racial divide and a racial stir pertaining to Caitlyn Clark. And that Caitlyn Clark is, who knows, really don't care. How basically they were complaining. Now, keep in mind, this was their home game. And Caitlyn Clark fans came to the arena calling these women out of their names, making racial innuendo. It's funny how you at these snow creatures and these Sam has been directed is towards the black women and the black uh, WNBA players. You know, people keep saying, you know, don't, forget about, let's talk about her. No, because at the end of the day, the WNBA could have built itself. But when they heard about Caitlyn Clark, the American grown white female basketball player, and I once again said she can play, then they put this marketing machine behind her, started building her up, started boosting her up, started giving her all these accolades. And now it's a question. Well, it's not a question. She doesn't deserve them. She couldn't win in college 2 years in a row. And she's knocked out of the playoffs in the first round. With that being said, but the problem that I have is the complexion protection program that she's under, where you can't say anything. You can't critique her in one way without being ridiculed, called a hater, and all this stuff. I'm tired of these goofballs sitting up saying that somebody is hating on Caitlyn Clark. What's going on is people starting to hate Caitlyn Clark. And whether it's her fault or not, that's debatable. But I will say that Caitlyn Clark need to speak on this stuff and dismiss and denounce this racism. She need to continue to say, not in my name. She need to say, hey, it doesn't matter whether I'm playing it in the playoffs or not. You need to support this league, not because of me, because of the other women. She doesn't say things like that. Then all of a sudden, you'll have people say, "Oh, well, she's not required to say stuff." But then these are the same people that's always telling the black athletes what they should address and how they should talk, what, when, why, and how they should say something. But Caitlyn Clark, oh, she's young. They always try to change the rules for the Mayonnaise Nation members. And like I said before, if you wonder why people are developing resentment towards Caitlyn Clark, is because of this. If you want to boost her up, that's fine, but you don't have to demean those black women that's playing. And don't come on here and say, "Oh, it isn't about race." Of course it is. You say it's about race when it pertains to Caitlyn Clark, but it isn't about race when it pertains to, these black female WNBA players. Oh, I get it. It's not racism because, once again, because you're white and you say so, right? It's not racism because a white guy said it. Okay? Because you say it, it's not factual. It's not true. It's the gospel. Stop it. Once again, if you only watching the WNBA because of Caitlyn Clark, you are truly missing out. You're cheating yourself. And you're not a real basketball fan. You shouldn't be a fan of a player. You should be a fan of the sport. I cover the NBA whether LeBron is in the playoffs or not. I covered the NFL whether Tom Brady was playing for a Super Bowl or not, because that's what I do. I cover sports. I don't cover boxing when only Canelo is fighting or Terrence Crawford. No, I cover it as a whole because that's why it's called Town Business Sports and Entertainment. And then I listened to Stephen A. Smith say virtually nothing. Basically say something that everybody predicted he would say. Stephen A. Smith was very careful to call out these adversaries of these black female WNBA players. He tried to play his he tried to play it safe. Because now that Stephen A. Smith, you know, got that big contract, now he's really calculated on what he says. He don't want to make certain people angry. But that's the beauty of working for yourself like I do. I don't answer to nobody. I don't have a producer. I don't have executives. And I'm glad. So everything that comes out of my mouth, whether good or bad, I said it. It's going to get to a point where Caitlyn Clark is going to have to address this. She's going to have to put, she's going to have to put possibly sponsorships and money to the side and think about integrity in class that people claim she has. Because people love to talk about somebody's a class act when, yeah, that's debatable. Because if she's such a morally grounded person, she need to say, hey, stop this stuff. But then, like I said, her fans will say, oh, she's not obligated. She's young. She should just be worried about playing basketball. Well, okay. Well, how come that doesn't resonate with the black athletes? How come y'all always talk about, well, they need to address it. They need to speak on this. They need to do this for the better good of basketball. They need to do this for the better good of sports. It's just always a double standard. And it's just like, my God, where does it end? When does it end? Or in Caitlyn Clark's position, when does it start? When does she start saying, don't do this in my name? Stop this nonsense. Don't support me, support the league. But I think to a certain degree, I think Caitlyn Clark likes this stuff. To a certain degree, it'll go to your head when you look and see that you got all these people protecting you. And like I said, you Sambos out here, you looking real weak right now. You gutless. You ain't no better than the dudes that work for mainstream media, except you not making as much money as them. Don't be a puppet. Be yourself. Speak on this ignorance. Speak on this foolishness. I'm going to speak on it. Like I said before, does me being who I am come with a price? Yeah, absolutely. Of course, people is not going to be, you know, in a rush to subscribe to my channel or listen to me because I say what need to be said. The internet, to a certain degree, is full of delusion and illusion. It's not as authentic as people want you to believe. People say stuff that is semi-factual, but they will add a twist and turn to it. It's almost like screenwriting. Okay? They will add some twists and turns and plots to it to enhance it and make the story more interesting. And then they appease to the masses. Most of these Sambo channels out here know that these people are racist. So why not cater to them? I don't need that stuff. I don't need that stuff. Oh, finally somebody that gets it. So me constantly talking about black people and putting down my own race is somebody that gets it and that wants to ignore the blatant racism that's being directed towards my tribe, my people. Come on, man. Can't do that, man. I will not do that. I refuse to do that. That's not who I am. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't need subscribers that bad. I don't. I'm gonna continue to call this out. So if it means me not having hundreds of thousands of subscribers, then so be it. If I sat up here and played a delusion and played into this blatant racism that's going on, yeah, people would love me. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna Officer Tatum my way to a couple of 100,000 subscribers. I'm not gonna say stuff that I know isn't true that I don't mean. I mean, you cannot, and I don't usually name names, but dudes like Officer Tatum, that dude is a complete fraud. He doesn't even believe the stuff that comes out of his mouth, but he caters to the racism. People know that there's racist people out there, and that's still selling out when you say stuff that you don't mean. Just like you got these dudes that built a boxing channel constantly talking about 7-8 and talking about the LDBC and all that kind of stuff. Constantly talking about another man to build up their channel. Like I said, I didn't had issues with people on here, and everybody knows that. But that's not the premise of us or constantly, being puppet or catering to the certain masses. America is a racist country, whether people want to pretend that it isn't. It's blatantly racist. It's more openly racist than it's ever been. People don't even want to hide the fact that they racist no more. So that's what's real. That's what's going on. But I feel bad for these women that's going through it, being called names and being ridiculed and belittled because of some overrated white female basketball player who hasn't won shit, who gets celebrated for losing. Now all of a sudden losing became cool. Coming in second place is cool now. But we've been told all our lives when it pertains to sport, it's all about the chip. At the end of the day, your career isn't what it could be if you don't finish with a championship, which is very difficult to do. But this woman is celebrated for continuing to lose. Her team getting it to the White House. And nobody finds nothing wrong with that. The losing team gets invited to the White House. So now all of a sudden, ain't nobody. So now all these content creators who say, I call it right on the line. I call it right down the line. Call everybody out that exercise racism. I don't care what they look like. Well, okay, well, push that envelope. But at the same time, you ain't really putting nothing in it. You basically trying to mail in an empty envelope, which means you're not saying anything. You know it exists, but you're not saying anything. But then you want to push this hard to protect Caitlyn and have people on your platform that you know don't like your black ass, that you know are racist, and celebrating you for being a Sambo and letting them come on your outlet and exercise their racism and white supremacy and their bigotry. That says a lot about your character, and it's a lot about your integrity. I have character, I have integrity. One thing about me, I've never said that I was the perfect person. The audience that I have, which I'm okay with that. Easy because I'm willing to learn. Never said I knew everything. I give out information and then I receive information. I I will clearly say, if I'm off a little bit, I don't know for sure, put it in the comment section because that's how you become a better content creator. When you sit up here and act like you know a damn thing, then that's not productive. Because one thing you want to do is gravitate with your audience. So I don't come across as this dude that know every damn thing. But one thing I will say that I do know, I know that it's blatant racism directed towards, you know, the black of the WNBA, and just done all this amazing, mind-boggling things. Yeah, I would be completely okay. Okay, cool. She's won absolutely nothing. That's all I'm asking. So now we celebrate people for failing. So now we celebrate people for coming in second place. So Caitlyn Clark is the best I've ever seen at finishing second place. Nobody finishes in second place better than Caitlyn Clark. So by their standards, that makes her the best. Okay. Okay. Make that make sense. I will wait for somebody to explain that to me. Them women do not deserve the ridicule and harassment that they're getting. WNBA, they need to attack information. Now, how would they like that? I've been talking about Asia Wilson. I've been talking about her. She's phenomenal. They don't hardly say anything about her. You guys have to understand this stuff is scripted on mainstream television. It's scripted. Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp is getting told certain stuff. Though I didn't been it though. I know how true. Spent this much time protected each other, we'd be unstoppable. It's like what Godfrey said. He said Godfrey said his heart said when the dude said how powerful black people can be. He said, "Yo, people don't even how fruitful and powerful your race can be when they see the potential in your race that you don't even see." He said heart dropped. He said, y'all, he said, y'all could have so stuff. What does that say about us as a whole? That's disturbing. Asia Wilson, I will say this. Nike did right by her by giving her signature shoes. She do got some slides coming out. She got some signature shoes coming out. So I will give Nike thumbs up for that. But like you said, that ain't enough. That ain't enough. She should be getting invited to fights and stuff. And the thing is, what I don't understand, Mark Davis owns the Las Vegas Aces. Tom Brady is co-owner of the Las Vegas Aces. Why don't you see either one of them tweeting about their player? And Tom Brady needs to be called out for that. In particularly, Mark Davis is an older guy, but Tom Brady should be tweeting on a regular basis about, hey, how about showing my girl some love? Tom Brady need to be called out for that because y'all didn't know that, did y'all? Did y'all know Tom Brady is a co-owner of the Las Vegas Aces, and Mark Davis is pretty much the owner. Well, there you have it. And if you think I'm lying, look it up. Tom Brady is a co-owner of the Las Vegas Aces. So I just gave you content creators some game. Well, now you know. The Las Vegas Aces are owned by Mark Davis, his wife, and Tom Brady. Yeah, yeah. But I think I'm gonna bring that to the forefront because now it's time to apply some pressure on Tom Brady and Mark Davis, but more so Tom Brady because Tom Brady is more of a larger than life, athlete. Keep in mind, they're saying he the greatest quarterback that ever lived. Some people saying he's the greatest football player that ever lived. So, with that being said, with the stature that you have, you should be tweeting about, how about some love for my player? Now, why Tom Brady isn't saying nothing, I don't know, but I would like an answer, and I think Tom Brady should be called out. Nah, my battle is yet to begin because at the end of the day, a lot of questions is gonna be answered, and we, the people of Oakland, we demand answers from not only our politicians, from some of these owners. Listen, John Fisher is a liar. He could have built the stadium in Oakland. He's a complete fraud. You wanted this $12 billion to build a stadium, hotels, all at once. You could have built the stadium first and then started gradually building stuff around the stadium. But then you just settled for a stadium deal in Las Vegas. So, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Oh, that's inevitable. That's an that's gonna happen. I got the inside scoop on that. I got the inside scoop. Just like I believe strongly that sports eventually will return to Oakland. So, well, my thing was, where was this 12 billion gonna come from? Like, who's going to, like, what, who you think was going, who was going, where did you think, who do you think was going to pay for that? He, well, John Fisher is just a horrible person. He been lying to the city of Oakland for years. He been lying to the city of Oakland for the last 18 years since him and Lou Wolf like first purchased the team, and I just think Lou Wolf just sold all his stock in the team to John Fisher. John Fisher is just a liar, and he need to sell the damn team. I know a lot of people don't want Elon Musk to buy the team for obvious reasons because, um, you know, sometimes Elon Musk comes across as anti-human being, but, but excuse me, Elon Musk, not Eli Man. Elon Musk was one of the people that was interested. There were a lot of people that was interested in buying the Oakland A's. Mark Cuban showed interest at one time. Elon Musk, um, a lot of people, but I'm working on something. I can't say what it is right now. I got to set up these meetings and stuff. So, hopefully, if everything works out, everybody will know the story of what happened with sports in Oakland with the A's, the Raiders, and the Golden State Warriors. So, stay tuned. But but before I go, anybody that has Netflix, I highly recommend you check out that limited TV series, Mr. McMahon. Vince McMahon is a very questionable character. He's a shrewd businessman, but boy, he is cutthroat. And I'll put a short on how basically, Hulk Hogan basically, stabbed Jesse the Body Ventura in the back. But Vince McMahon, if these allegations is true against him, some of the stuff he was doing, Vince McMahon got away with a lot of stuff. He got away with a lot of stuff. And these accusations about him letting, little boys get diddied or get, you know what I'm saying? Not Diddy, we'll use somebody else, get Kevin Spacey'd. I'm only on part 2. LB, I'm only on part 2. And part two is mind-boggling. And there's like 3 more episodes to go. This documentary is gonna change the whole way you view Vince McMahon when this is all said and done. And Vince McMahon has gotten away with a lot of stuff. This is the dude who didn't stoop to no levels. Nothing was off limits to him to basically sell the WWE. Huh. So, surviving R. Kelly. How about surviving Vince McMahon? So there you have it. But anyway, you guys, appreciate you. It's your boy Tim. I'm out.